So men are going the wrong way, 'cause they don't like the women of today. Feminazism's here to stay. So men are going the wrong way. This one's going out to all the fellas. You and you and you and you and you. Sandman and MGTOW is freedom, and Turfling and Monkey and Howard there too. Bell Biv DeVoe, they had it right, see. Poison in 1990. Yeah, Bell Biv DeVoe, they had it right, see. Calling girls poison in 1990.
Hello, MGTOW. Hello, men. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. I want to talk about the way of the strong individual. The individual that knows that feminism is bullshit, that globalism, collectivism is a lie. It's communism, and it destroys the strong individual, that the people who want to be part of that larger group are actually looking for unearned resources. And if they get their way, they will enslave the individuals of their society and culture in order to serve what they claim to be their moralistic, noble goals and ends. But the truth is that they have to earn what they want in the world for themselves. This is the true lesson, and this is the way of the strong individual. So let me tell you, what I'm talking about and the setting, that this is taking place in. Because feminism is a war on men, and it destroys the individual freedom of everyone in the society, in the group, in the culture. That's what it is. It's group rights over individual rights. It's just another form of collectivism, and it's based on this victim, oppression, grievance way of looking at the world. And in case you haven't figured it out, you, the strong individual with your individual rights and freedoms, you're the one they're blaming. You're the one whose rights are going to be taken away. And just as the communist doesn't understand that by seizing the means of production from the people who built it, it can no longer be rebuilt. If the group were meant to have it, they would have built it. It's the individuals that we have to support and build up so that they can build the future and secure the prosperity, not the group. The group is actually maladaptive, as communism has demonstrated time and time again. And the individual and freedom is the engine for progress, as capitalism and free markets and free systems demonstrate time and time again. So playing the victim, claiming to be oppressed, claiming that your ancestors were oppressed, and that the system is inherently cheating you and that you need, some sort of consideration from the system is maladaptive. For a child, for a pregnant woman, for someone who's sick, they're going to need that level of consideration. And it's a good thing that we have it. I'm glad that we have it. But it's not the way to build your civilization, right? You have to grow up and become the strong individual who contributes to the system and can, rebuild the system and can maintain the system. So let me go into a little bit more detail, right? Because what we're experiencing, I would definitely consider to be the fempocalypse. This is female nature unrestrained, going wild, supported by the weakest of men who want to reproduce. It's hopefully they can, learn about MGTOW and kind of get that under control. We'll see what we can do about that. Men are going their own way because they recognize the injustice inherent in the system. Self-respecting individuals, including women, are going their own way from a system that exploits and enslaves them. This is the way of the strong individual, to recognize the exploitation of the group of the individual and to go their own way from it. This is the only way that the individual can preserve themselves and build themselves. The woman, the child, the dependent, they want to be part of the group. They need to be part of the group. The system is built to protect them. It's built by the strong individuals. This doesn't even have to be about sex. It doesn't even have to be about male and female. It can be about people who are willing to earn their way in the world and want nothing unearned, and people who want unearned resources, virtue, and consideration in this world. You don't get any consideration if one of your relatives or ancestors was oppressed. You don't get consideration because you identify with a group. You don't get to act out any of your emotions against the rights of other people just because you feel that they're bad. That's insane. Our legal system is not based on your feelings. It's based on people's deeds and what they do, not what you expect them to do. So this false outrage, this playing the victim, this taking the moral high ground and then behaving in a manner without, moral integrity. I'm talking about Antifa. I'm talking about leftists. I'm talking about the extreme, radical, liberal media and their lies. That's their game, to control the population and to manipulate them through these hot-button emotional issues. It's not hard. It's not complicated. People even know that they're being played. It's like listening to a song and going along with the beat. It's like giving yourself over to the larger group. And as a young person, as a member of the family, as a child, as a woman that wants protection and needs protection in order to give birth, like it's part of their nature, this behavior is understandable. It's instinctual. But you have to allow for the strong, free individual. That's the engine of progress. That's how you build your civilization, okay? Because people have motivated self-interest. They are free to pursue what they want, and they can earn rewards relative to their abilities and to their work. That's the system. That's the real system. That's the system that you, as an individual, eventually need to step up to. A million different ways. It's open to men, it's open to women, it's open to people with great intelligence, it's open to people who are willing to work hard. You're going to have to get lucky. You're going to have to work through obstacles. You're going to have to overcome difficulties. You're going to have to overcome your own weaknesses. That's what it is, okay? I don't want to make this about self-knowledge. It's a difficult road. But the strong individual goes their own way, is not exploited by the group, does not fall for identity politics. And I understand that when someone says, they're going to cut the welfare that you need in order to live, or the Social Security that you need to live, it's a complete panic, right? It's a complete emotional upheaval. I understand that. And I understand, you're just going to oppose that intellectually, But motivated self-interest. You have to be the one to take care of yourself. Damn, I don't want to make it about self-knowledge. It's about self-knowledge, okay? You can't remain part of the group. There is no larger group. Eventually, you have to leave the herd, leave the group, and go your own way. The struggle and the difficulties that you see people dealing with in their lives are often their inability, their unwillingness to recognize these fundamental truths, or the fact that other people are using them and exploiting them. Do you understand that the system of women and children and dependents and people who feel offended and feel like they're victims and you hurt their ancestors, and this isn't about race, okay? I am not a racist. It isn't right to accuse me of racism when I don't judge people based on their race. I judge them based on their deeds. I don't even judge people based on their sex, so it's not right to call me a sexist. But I recognize that women have one life path where they do want to have children, and they do want to build a nest, and they do want to be protected and provided for and treated like a princess. They actually need this in order to effectively give birth. They need to feel secure and comfortable, largely, for it to be humane, more than an act of an animal, right? So it becomes that question, are you and is your life more than the act of an animal, right? Are you just going on these basic instincts and then using your intellect and playing the victim, claiming to be oppressed, playing an emotional card to gain an advantage? In other words, the highest human faculty of logic and reason is now in service to some of the lower human tendencies, just the basic instincts, animal instincts, right? When it should be the other way around, and that's the distinction that I'm calling for, that I'm pointing out, is that you've got one group of people that are governed by their instincts and that are using their intellect to serve their instincts. And you can't blame them. I mean, what else is it, child growing up, somebody who's very dependent, somebody who's disabled, what else are they going to do, right? But then you've got, the human, strong, independent, rational, logical individual who's able to say, okay, yeah, these are my instincts, and here's what needs to happen in order for me to have a good future. And I'm going to have to govern those instincts based on this knowledge, this awareness that I possess, right? So that's why, like sometimes you're dealing with somebody and it's like, my God, I'm dealing with this like vicious, instinctual animal that's always one step ahead of me. And it's always, it's outsmarting me. It's not outsmarting you. It's crafty, it's not outsmarting anything. It's actually trapping itself within its own weakness. This is the thing to overcome: your own instincts, your own weakness, your own tendency to play the victim, to claim that you were oppressed, to try to get some free advantage. In other words, to get the most benefit for the least amount of expenditure. This is part of our instincts, okay? So now the person is sitting down and they want to get their drink, okay? But they could claim that they've hurt their shoulder and they want you to get it for them, okay? So do you see what I'm saying? So their weakness, this instinct to exert the least amount of energy for the most amount of gain, has them say, hey, could you hand that drink to me? And you say, why? Why would I expend any energy for you? What's in it for me? And they say, oh, I've hurt my shoulder. I can't reach it. With the implication being that, if you help them out now, they'll help you out in the future, right? Because we're all part of the group. So you do it, okay? And what happens? Well, that person is now reinforced that this is the way to go forward. This is the way to, boom, get the most amount of utility for the least amount of expenditure by complaining and manipulating and lying to other people. What happens as a result? Their shoulder does not become sufficient. It does not adapt to the requirements of the environment, right? It becomes this drain on everybody. Okay, so I'm just saying we take that tendency, that instinct within people, and we say, okay, look, here it is, manifest throughout their whole lives, right? Person can't lose weight. Person's constantly overeating. Person's constantly having a problem, and they forgot, why they kind of went into that mode. Do you see what I mean? So now they can't even find their way out of it. Now they really think that they are, oppressed because of something that happened to their ancestors hundreds of years ago, right? And it's governing their entire worldview and mindset. Okay, they're not being responsible for their feelings. I'm sorry, I don't know how else to put that. I think I've put everything else pretty clearly and pretty succinctly. And I don't think I'm saying anything that other people don't know and suspect. I've known it all along. I'm just finding the words to express it. So I believe that's the distinction between this class struggle, this political struggle that we find ourselves in. And it's political, right? It's acting out politically. Now, you as an individual man, MGTOW, you just have to make yourself strong. You have to build yourself up. The only thing Howard Dare, am trying to do is to give you some insight and some awareness, to the overall situation, like a bird's eye view, so that you can better navigate the situation, so you don't walk into the traps and the pitfalls, and so that you can find, the best ways through for yourself, right? So I'm suggesting that if you become like the person who is manipulating others into, getting their drink for them, that your shoulder is never going to become strong. And, that individual will never develop the character and the habits necessary to be strong and effective and independent in life. They will always be in this compromised position where they have to play the victim, where they have to ask for sympathy, where they have to pretend that they're, oppressed. Do you see what I mean? It's this horrible way of going about getting ahead in life. And yeah, of course, they become fat. They become sick. The things around them break down, right? This is not the way to build up the individuals. You take the other route of individual responsibility. It doesn't matter if you were oppressed. It doesn't matter what happened to your ancestors. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. Perhaps, it matters, but you still have to move forward and become strong and adapt to the environment. You can't follow this human animal instinct to get the most advantage for the least expenditure, because it becomes a trap where your own instincts and weakness enslave you and destroy you. So you have to be able to recognize that and then to kind of overcome this tendency within yourself. And it's a long process, probably going to move forward in stages, right? Like you're not going to fix it all in a day, but you're going to recognize it and you're going to move forward, or at least that's the idea. That's what I had in mind. when I started this video. So let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. And please like, share, comment, subscribe, donate, and join me again, Howard Dare, as I plan to have more content for you. Thank you, MGTOW.
So men are going the wrong way, 'cause they don't like the women of today. Feminazism's here to stay. So men are going the wrong way. This one's going out to all the fellas.